and welcome back to The Culture Shift with Rosalind Jovan, our podcast aimed at inspiring the leaders of tomorrow, brought to you by Black Enterprise. Here we like to review the success stories of today's tastemakers to encourage those who dare to dream big. Today, we're going inside Kobi Libie's new film, The American Society of Magical Negroes. The movie serves as a fresh, satirical comedy inspired by the magical Negro trope popularized in American cinema and television throughout the 20th century. The film follows a young man named Aaron who is recruited into a society of magical Black people who dedicate their lives to making white people feel more comfortable. Join me in welcoming the film's writer and director, Kobi Libii, actor Justice Smith, who stars as Aaron, and actress-comedian Nicole Byer, who plays the role of Dee Dee. Hi. So I saw the film. I was very entertained. So I definitely have some questions. I definitely want to have some questions. Kobi, I want to start with you. You wrote and directed The American Society of Magical Negroes, and I want to know what was the inspiration behind the film and, how it plays into the trope of the magical Negro.
Sure, yeah. Well, it starts with the trope. That's the inspiration. And the trope is a Black supporting character who doesn't have his own internal life, just supports the white protagonist. That's why they were written into existence. And to me, that trope is, the sort of troubling suggestion of that trope is that Black lives don't matter unless they're helping white people. And that the messaging of that is so damning and so assaulting to me as a Black person, and I think all of us, even though it's subtle and sort of subtextual. And the inspiration of the film is responding to that, both as a literal trope, because I saw a run of movies that had it in the 90s and they agitated me, but also to what it's like to live in a country that sends that message to you over and over again, how you can be undermined by that, and the sort of important and hopefully joyful work of moving past that really negative messaging to a bigger and freer experience moving through the world as a Black person in this country.
Right. So touching on that, would you say, is that what you're hoping Black viewers will get from the film, walking away with a higher sense of self in this world?
It's the subject matter I'm playing with is incredibly incendiary. My job as an artist, first and foremost, isn't to calibrate what any given audience member is going to feel in response to what I make. My job is twofold: to be incredibly honest, painfully honest, shamefully honest in certain cases, and to be captivating. Those are my jobs. And I put that work out into the world, and people respond to it how they're going to respond to it. And I know for some Black audiences, they feel really empowered and really freed and really moved by that. For other Black audiences, the engaging with, I'm writing about a defense mechanism, right? I'm writing about a defense mechanism where I, as a Black man, am saying, raising my hand and saying, look, once in a while, because I was taught this to survive, I have over-accommodated white people, and I've been too friendly to white people, and that is a deeply shameful thing to admit. And I think that Black audiences encountering that defense mechanism said out loud by anybody, it's embarrassing. It is not how we like to think about ourselves. It's not the coolest look on myself, you know what I'm saying? But my job isn't to present myself in the best light. My job is to be really honest and hopefully really captivating. So I know there's going to be a range of reactions to this film. I know some of them are going to be really empowering and freeing for people, but this subject matter is just so challenging that the ball is going to bounce a number of ways.
Yes. Justice, so you're playing the lead role of Aaron, and we see he's extremely apologetic towards white people. And in that, he's also revealing that he is biracial. Do you think his biracial identity, or was that a part of it, the film's trope, to play into his behavior towards white people and his outlook on himself?
Absolutely. I think that it definitely informs the way he moves through white spaces. Obviously I'm biracial myself, and when I was cast in the film, me and Kobi had a very extensive talk about including that in the film, because I think that it informs his proximity to whiteness. It informs why he thinks that if he just placates, if he just appeases a little bit more often, that he'll somehow be saved from this discomfort that he feels. But in reality, it's just this vicious cycle that he's in, where he feels uncomfortable, and so he appeases, thus allowing these people to treat him like that, and thus feeling more uncomfortable. And he goes on this journey of liberation and self-empowerment, and learns to love his identity and learns to prioritize himself in those spaces. And that's a journey that I had to go on as well. So there's a lot of me in this. And I think that lends to the authenticity of it and the truthfulness of it.
And if I can I just tag in on the biraciality of it all, if you don't mind, you know.
Yes, please.
No, you can't.
Yeah, no, I'll stay in my corner. You know, and look, we're, you know, as light-skinned, you know, Black artists and as Black biracial artists, we're both incredibly aware of colorism and try to be really thoughtful about the choice to present our bodies and not darker-skinned bodies, because there's really important political work in presenting Black bodies that are darker than our bodies on screen. But in this particular film, part of the message of this film is it's about the false promise of assimilation. That America is saying to all of us who are other in some way, but especially Black people, that, hey, if you just behave this way, it's gonna be fine. We'll give you the privileges of whiteness. If you just comply with the officer's orders, you're gonna be safe, and that's a lie. And it's a dangerous lie. And to me, the way you put the lie to that talking point is to show the most acceptable possible people of color in terms of a light-skinned Black man, a light-skinned woman of color, to show them still being rejected from the full privileges of whiteness. To me, that sharpens the satire and that sharpens the critique of that false promise of assimilation. So I'm being really deliberate with this casting. And that's all to say, you know, the choice of his biraciality is both character motivating, but it's also symbolic in that particular way, and I believe is politically coherent with the same politics that go into casting darker skinned bodies in a lot of cases, which is, again, really important work that I think we're both excited to do on other projects.
Palatability won't save you.
He said it shorter and better. He said it shorter and better than I did. You know.
Hi, Nicole. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. It's so great to speak with you. So I watched the film. I was thoroughly entertained, and your character definitely just helped liven up moments in just different ways, because you being you, I saw your essence in the character.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so tell us about your character, Dee Dee, and what you feel she represents in the film.
Dee Dee is the head of the American Society of Magical Negroes, and she is in charge of like keeping things going. She makes sure that no one is doing things wrong, everyone's on point, and she's very I would say she's like the head bitch in charge, for lack of a better term. And she's powerful, and she takes up space, and she levitates. And she's fabulous, and she looks good doing it.
Yes. So how much fun did you have playing Dee Dee?
Oh, I had the most fun because I read the script and then had a meeting with Kobi, and I was like, I think I get what you're trying to do, and I have some, ideas. And then I got to create her characteristics and mannerisms, and her voice is pitched down a little bit from mine. So that was a fun place to live. Later, when I had to do ADR, which is like sometimes mics don't pick up stuff, so you have to like re-record stuff. I was like, wait, what is her voice again? And I was like, oh yeah, I did all this character work. Oh my God, girl. But yeah, it was fun, and I got to play, and that's one of the best parts about getting to do what I do when you have a director who trusts you.
So in the film, we see Aaron, or even like society members, get shunned by the society for moments that more than likely would be praised by the overall Black community. Why do you think the concept of white comfortability is held so highly by the society?
I think it's an interesting, it's, based on the trope in television and movies. And I think they hold it so highly because that's the thing that gives them power. Appeasing white people gives them a level of comfort. It makes their world go round. It makes them necessary. And it's like, if we stop caring about, essentially like the patriarchy and implicit bias and stereotypes and racism. If we're not feeding into these things, it's like, well, where are we? What do we do? If we don't care about making these people comfortable, where is my place in society? Which is a crazy, it's such a, I don't want to say crazy, it's such like it's an interesting thing to think about. And it's like, how often am I making people in perceived power feel comfortable? Am I advocating for myself? Am I speaking on behalf of somebody whose voice is, less than mine? It kind of just makes you, think about the hierarchy of the world.
Yes, yes. And so for my last question, if there's one word you could use to describe the American Society of Magical Negroes, what would it be?
One word, I would say fanciful.
Okay. I can see how that correlates. So now anyone watching this, watch the movie to see how fanciful this movie is. Okay. Thank you so much, Nicole. You're amazing.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.